So you see, I didn't let the bad thing that happened to me defeat me. Sure, it sucked. And it sucked even worse because it happened before I gave birth to my daughter. I was still pregnant. We go through life every day, and sometimes it's mundane and sometimes the wild things happen to kind of throw us for a loop, and we can easily feel like we're by ourselves. It will help you move from overwhelmed and overstimulated and insecure into a more confident and more efficient role as wife, mom, and homemaker. Phew, anyone else glad this year is coming to a close? Just me? Okay. When I tell you my life has changed quite a bit, it's changed. But that's what we're supposed to do. Change, grow, learn, be better. And that process in itself is hard and painful. Think about it. If you're trying to get bigger muscles, you lift weights. But those weights are heavy at first. And each rep you do causes tension and stress on your muscles. But after a while, you don't feel the pain of that weight. So you move up to heavier weights until you get to your desired look. Well, that's kind of how this year felt. Heavy. But I realized that God allowed the hard time to happen to build my spiritual muscle. You see, a couple I have known for a long time shattered the bridge to the relationship between them and I. Now, I won't go into details, but I will say I was shocked and extremely hurt, and it caused some very unhealthy thoughts and reactions, some of which I wish I could say differently. You see, the enemy knew exactly where to strike, and he hit those pain points. I mean, this couple was dear to my heart, and I used to get excited to see them, and was actually desiring to establish a better relationship with them. Well, at least with the wife. But all of that came to a crashing halt. Anyways, I could have allowed what happened to weigh me down and cause me to do so many things God wouldn't be pleased with, but instead, I learned so many lessons from this event. I'll share that in a bit, but allow me to share with you the good things that happened, and I hope you experience a lot of good moments too. While you're here, let me know what your favorite moment was from 2023. So yes, the beginning of the year was very hard, but the year wasn't all bad. I gave birth to my beautiful baby girl. We had a home birth, and it was such an experience. If you're in the Nashville area and you're considering a home birth, I will highly recommend Wild Fig Birth. They were so awesome and they handled me very well. I had a very challenging pregnancy and they were very encouraging throughout the whole process. There were 2 times that my home birth was in jeopardy, and these ladies rallied together to encourage me to make the changes. And as I'm making these changes, they're telling me, "You're doing a good job. It's working. Keep going." That, coupled with the support of my supportive husband, got me through this pregnancy, you guys. The birthing experience was a little bit of the birthing experience itself was a little rough just because I had a complication. But these women handled it with great care and concern for me and the baby. And it made me feel very well taken care of. The afterbirth process was very peaceful and they checked up on me very well. But I highly recommend Wild Fig Birth. Birth is definitely nerve-wracking, but it's so beautiful. So in 2023, I was able to visit my family. I stayed there for 2.5 weeks. It was the longest time ever away from my husband. It was so long. I missed him so terribly, but I really needed to connect with my family, and he was really supportive of that. And so my brother and I, he came up to spend some time with us, and then we both drove down to Texas. And I got to spend some quality time with him and my mom and my dad. I missed them so much. And it was such a good thing, especially after what happened. I'm pretty bummed that I didn't get to see my oldest brother and his family, but that just means there will be another trip in the making. Another good thing was I started my YouTube channel. Okay, so technically this is my 3rd channel and I wasn't going to start it, but I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it for fun. And my awesome friend Cassandra and my friend Ryan both encouraged me to just give it my best and be consistent. And so that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm just looking forward to sharing my journey with some amazing mamas out there who are overwhelmed like me. And it's been really fun. It's been really fun. I knew it was going to be a lot because I have 3 kids and one of which is very demanding, but it's been very, very fun and very fulfilling. Another good thing, which I should have mentioned first, but this obviously is in no particular order. Another good thing was I grew closer to my husband. I'll talk about this a little bit later in the lessons learned, but I grew so close to my husband because of how he handled the situation with the couple that did what they did. And it just showed me another layer to him that I hadn't really seen, because I really hadn't had to. Like that side of him never really needed to come out. It was a subtle way, but it just confirmed that I married the right person. And I'm so thankful that God has placed us together. And along with growing closer to my husband, I also grew closer to two friends in particular. And this lady and we've been friends for 13 years, and her and I have become closer than we've ever been the 13 years that I've known her. She recently got saved and has been a very key person in my healing process as well. She was able to encourage me and to tell me the truth about things, even when I didn't want to hear them. The amount of spiritual support that I've gotten from her and my husband has just been so overwhelming, which is why I'm flowing with emotions right now. All right, so there was a lot of reflection this year, and I fully recognize what the devil meant for bad. God really worked it out for my good. And ultimately, what I'm praying that I use this testimony as a way to glorify Him and bring others to Him and help strengthen other Christ followers. All right, now that I've told you some of the good things that's happened, I'm going to share those lessons that I told you about earlier with you. And these are lessons that I'm going to carry into 2024 and throughout the rest of my life. And I really hope that these lessons that I've learned can help you, so you don't have to go through the things that I've gone through. These lessons I've learned are also timely, but I wish I learned them sooner. It would have saved me a lot of grief. You see, I'm such a relationship-driven woman. I value the people I establish a good relationship with, and when I lose one or two, it's always hard. It doesn't matter how good or bad the person treated me, it still hurts. But it's funny how God decides to move in your life. Sure, I could have felt bad and wallowed in what happened. Oh my gosh, why did they do this to me? And don't get me wrong, I had my moments, but I used the bulk of this year to heal from the hurt the couple caused and from the hurt I carried from my past. God has a plan for that pain. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 tells me He has a plan for me as well. And I just have to allow the plan to pan out. I was able to see what this couple really thought of me. It was eye-opening. I learned to lean on God completely. I watched a movie called War Room, and oh my goodness, I must have watched it like 15 times. It really inspired me to transform my closet into a war room where I go to seek God and cry out to Him in private. I learned more about God's character, and I learned how to read the Bible the right way. I didn't really realize there was a right and wrong way to read it, but I learned that too. I learned that my husband will definitely choose me and protect me from anyone, because honestly, he was much closer to the couple than I was, and he stood by me. And don't get me wrong, I knew this already, but it was just confirmed. I learned that I have people in my corner that will tell me the truth, encourage me to do the right thing even though it's hard, love me through my faults, and won't judge me for them. I learned that forgiveness isn't married to reconciliation. I read a book, Forgiving What You Can't Forget. It was so good, so profound. And I believe the lessons in this book can help anyone who is having a hard time forgiving those who hurt them. After all, God calls us to forgive, and He helps us do it. I also learned who God has said I am. I have learned to see myself the way God sees me. I have learned to not be a people pleaser. And I've also learned a new way of thinking about boundaries and who is allowed to have access to me. So you see, I didn't let the bad thing that happened to me defeat me. Sure, it sucked. And it sucked even worse because it happened before I gave birth to my daughter. I was still pregnant. And the healing process was painful. But I allowed myself to go through the feelings. It hurt, yes. And there were some hard moments, yes. But I gave the thoughts to God that were helpful. And I allowed Him to deal with that. I kept the thoughts and the feelings that were beneficial, the lessons that I've learned. And I'm allowing God to use that too. So yeah, I look forward to 2024. And I can't wait to learn more lessons and experience more good things and have more fun with family and develop better systems for my homemaking and be a better mom and wife. And of course, I'll share what I've learned with you throughout the year. I look forward to 2024. It's going to be an amazing year, just like this one. Hey, I'm Celeste from the blog, theroarmama.com. And if you're an overwhelmed mama, wife, and homemaker like I am, this is the perfect channel for you. I know how it feels to feel alone in the pains and the trials of being each role. We go through life every day, and sometimes it's mundane and sometimes the wild things happen to kind of throw us for a loop, and we can easily feel like we're by ourselves and no one else has gone through this struggle. I felt that too. That is why I created this channel, to help you feel like you have someone in your corner, you have someone that knows what it's like to go through these things as a wife, homemaker, and mama, because I get it. I do believe the videos that I will share with you will help you move from overwhelmed and overstimulated and insecure into a more confident and more efficient role as wife, mom, and homemaker. Listen, just because I've been in these roles for over 13 years does not mean I have things together. I really don't. But I am willing to share my journey with you so you can see the ups and downs and you can see the things that I'm refining and putting into place. Now, I don't discredit the 13 plus years because I have learned a lot of tips and those I am sharing with you. But over these past few years, I have learned to put systems into place and refine those systems. And as I learn and grow and implement more things, I am very willing to share those with you so you can have an easier time as wife, mama, and homemaker, because these roles are very significant. They're very big, they're very heavy, they're very important, and they're very fulfilling. And I believe we have to do our best at each role, but it doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. So I want to share my journey with you. So what do you say? Will you be on this journey with me? If you will, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'd love to have you. Take care.